Okay, so now we need to create the materials for the lamp itself. The first material I'm going to apply is just a white color to the lampshade. That's what it was in the original. If we go back into Illustrator and we take a look at the art, it has some ribs and stuff like that. I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'm just going to deal with the color. It's predominantly white, so I'm just going to go back into Cinema 4D and apply a white material to this. So down here, I'm going to create a new material, and the color, I can just do this in this window. So I'm going to just drag these colors all the way to the right, and that should give me a white color. And then for reflectance, that shouldn't really reflect anything, but opacity is something that I want to take a look at, because we don't want it to be fully opaque to let the light go through it. So we have some other options for luminance and transparency and other things like this. Again, this is sometimes easier if you just double click on this to get the material editor so you can see what you're doing. And I'm just going to go to the alpha and turn that on. Okay, and then I'm going to close the material editor. And then I'm going to apply the texture to the lampshade. So that's the texture on the lampshade. Now the next texture that we're going to create is this lamp base is gold, and it has a high reflectancy. So we're going to create a texture, a gold texture, that's going to be fairly realistic, and that will give us a good look and feel. So again, we're going to create a new material. And for this one, I'm going to double click on the material to get the material editor to come up. So the first thing we want to do is apply a color. And I'm going to use the RGB settings here to apply a color. And this is going to give us a base gold value. So 170 red, 95 green, and 35 blue. Gives us kind of like that gold area. Then for reflectance, we want to go into the reflectance area. And right now, this is pretty flat. It's not going to give us any dimension. It's not going to really do what we want it to do until we add the reflectance that we want. So I'm going to click up here where it says layer. And then I'm going to click the add button. And I'm going to choose reflection legacy. And you're going to see that this really reflects everything around it. Right? It shows you this image, but it will reflect anything that's surrounding that particular object. So we're not done yet. We lost the gold color, so we need to bring that back. So under here, under layer color, we want to go to the texture, drop down into surfaces. I'm going to change the surface to metal. And that's going to give us this bluish kind of tint to it. And then this texture map has that blue color in it. We want to change it to a goldish color. So I'm going to double click on the texture map, and that's going to bring up this shader. It's called a shader. And then we have this gradient that's being applied to it that gives us this variance. So I'm going to double click on the first slider, and I'm going to punch in 200 for red, 130 for green, 5 for blue. And on the other color stop, I'll double click on that, and we want to put in 230 for red, 175 for green, and 100 for blue. So that gives us more the kind of the goldish kind of look that we want. We're almost there. Go back to the previous step, and under layer color, under texture, we want to choose copy shader. So we're going to copy this shader. And then because we want to give it some relief, we're going to go to the bump map and turn that on. And in the bump map texture, I'm going to choose paste shader. And that'll give us our final look for the gold. So now I can close the material editor. And to apply the material to the lamp base, I'm just going to drag it to the lamp base. And then you can see what that's doing there. It's giving us that very highly reflective gold material. Okay. So now if we want, we can turn on the table, and using the tools that we have, I'm going to zoom out here just by using the mouse wheel, and I'm also going to use my mouse wheel to, should be able to use my mouse wheel to go down. Yes, here we go. Then we can put this up. Well, actually, I want to actually put all the lamp parts into a null object. So I'm going to create a new null, grab the shade and the lamp base, and pull that into the null, and then just call this lamp. And now I can pull this up and position it onto the table wherever I want it to go. It's a little big for the table, so we could scale it down. Grabbing the scale tool, we can scale it down this way, we can scale it down this way. We want to scale it down both ways though, so using this option will do that for us. And then going back to the move tool, we can position it on the table however we want to. Okay, so in the next video we're going to do is add some environmentals, add some lighting to the scene, and then we'll finish up the modeling section here.